Welcome back, Y&R fans. Today's episode delivers emotional reunions, shocking disappearances, dangerous decisions, and one kiss that could change everything forever. Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless opens with tension building across Genoa City and beyond. Every character seems to be carrying emotional baggage, but some are clearly reaching their breaking point faster than others. We begin aboard Kane Ashby's private train, where Lily Winters stays close to him following his recent medical procedure. Even though Kane tries to act tough, Lily immediately notices he's still in pain. Their conversation starts playfully, with Lily teasing him for acting dramatic over the recovery process. Kane jokes that she always treated him like a fragile patient whenever he got sick. But beneath the humor, there's real emotion. Lily reminds Kane that he doesn't always need to pretend he's invincible. She encourages him to take the pain medication if he truly needs it instead of trying to be some kind of hero. Kane laughs softly and says Lily has always worried too much. He even calls her the Queen of Concern, remembering how protective she was whenever their children got sick years ago. That memory creates a surprisingly warm atmosphere between them. For the first time in a long while, Lily and Kane seem comfortable together again. There's no bitterness, no fighting, no tension from the past. Instead, there's understanding, and maybe even lingering feelings neither one wants to admit out loud. Kane quietly tells Lily that it feels good being able to talk like this again. Lily agrees. She admits life became complicated after everything they went through, but moments like this remind her of who they used to be before all the heartbreak. Still, reality quickly interrupts the emotional moment. Malcolm Winters urgently needs Lily in New York, and Kane insists she shouldn't delay her trip because of him. He tells her to focus on family and promises he'll be fine during recovery. Before leaving, Lily pauses at the doorway and looks back at Kane with emotion in her eyes. Then, in a moment nobody fully expects, Lily walks over and kisses him gently. The kiss is soft but meaningful. It instantly leaves Kane speechless. As Lily boards the Winters jet and heads toward New York, viewers can already sense that old emotions between her and Kane may be coming back stronger than ever. Meanwhile, in New York City, another complicated connection begins to develop. At a luxury hotel, Dr. Stephanie Simmons arrives with important updates regarding Kane's stem cell transport. Holden Novak and Claire Newman anxiously wait for news, and Stephanie assures them the stem cells are safely on the way through a medical courier service. The stressful situation leads Claire and Holden into a surprisingly emotional conversation. Claire opens up about how difficult life has become recently. She admits she misses her father deeply and struggles with the emptiness left behind after losing him. Holden listens carefully, offering support instead of judgment. For perhaps the first time in a while, Claire feels genuinely understood. The conversation becomes more personal as both of them discuss complicated family histories and painful memories they rarely share with anyone else. Claire eventually breaks down emotionally and cries against Holden's shoulder. Holden comforts her gently, promising she doesn't need to face everything alone. The emotional vulnerability between them slowly shifts into undeniable chemistry. Then suddenly, they kiss. The moment catches Claire off guard almost immediately afterward. She pulls back slightly and warns Holden not to assume the kiss means something serious right away. She explains that emotions are running high and she's still confused about many things happening in her life. However, Holden doesn't seem discouraged. Instead, he smiles and tells Claire maybe the kiss is simply the beginning of something important between them. He says the more time they spend together, the stronger their connection becomes. Claire looks uncertain at first, but she doesn't disagree. In fact, she admits that getting to know the real Holden has changed her opinion about him completely. She no longer sees him as someone suspicious or dangerous. Instead, she's starting to believe he may actually be one of the few genuinely kind people around her. The two share a quiet toast with their juice glasses, sealing a moment that could mark the start of a brand new romance storyline. But while love begins blooming in New York, chaos is growing rapidly elsewhere. Back in Genoa City, Phyllis Summers continues hiding Matt Clark inside a private suite. When she arrives with breakfast and fresh clothes for him, Matt immediately complains about feeling trapped. He's frustrated by being forced to stay hidden away from the outside world. Phyllis tries calming him down, insisting she's protecting him for his own safety. She even encourages him to wear the new clothes she bought, saying he'll blend in better if anyone sees him unexpectedly. Matt clearly finds the entire situation uncomfortable. He starts questioning why Phyllis is helping him so much in the first place. According to Matt, nobody ever does anything without wanting something in return. But Phyllis surprises him with an unusually emotional answer. She explains that she understands what it feels like to lose everything and hit rock bottom. She says life finally gave her another opportunity, and now she wants to help someone else survive their darkest moment too. As tensions continue exploding across Genoa City, Friday's episode takes an even darker turn. Trust begins falling apart, secrets grow more dangerous, and several characters make decisions that could change their futures forever. We pick up at the Genoa City Athletic Club, where Michael Baldwin sits down with Lauren Fenmore Baldwin for a serious conversation about the growing Matt Clark situation. Michael looks exhausted. It's obvious he's been dealing with non-stop pressure from every direction, especially after Phyllis Summers attempted yet another risky negotiation involving Matt and Newman Enterprises. Lauren immediately asks whether Victor Newman is considering Phyllis's proposal at all. But Michael doesn't sound optimistic. He explains that Victor is refusing to compromise. In Victor's mind, there's only one acceptable outcome: getting both Matt Clark and Newman Enterprises back under his control. Nothing less will satisfy him. Lauren worries the entire situation is becoming too dangerous. She points out that Phyllis has never been someone who handles pressure calmly, especially when she feels cornered. Michael agrees, admitting that Phyllis seems emotionally invested in Matt now in ways he never expected. And right on cue, Phyllis herself suddenly arrives at the GCAC bar. The atmosphere instantly becomes uncomfortable. Lauren carefully watches Phyllis sit down while Michael questions her latest actions. He warns her that Victor will never simply surrender to her demands, especially if she continues hiding Matt from everyone. But Phyllis refuses to back down. In fact, she becomes surprisingly defensive when discussing Matt. She insists that people are judging him unfairly because of his memory problems and unstable mental state. According to Phyllis, Matt is vulnerable right now, and nobody seems willing to acknowledge that. Michael stares at her in disbelief. He quietly asks if she's actually starting to sympathize with Matt after everything he's done. Phyllis avoids giving a direct answer, but her expression says enough. Lauren quickly notices it too. For a brief moment, even Phyllis herself seems confused by how emotionally attached she's becoming to the situation. Still, she refuses to discuss it further. Instead, she abruptly leaves the conversation behind and heads straight back toward Matt's hotel suite, believing she still has everything under control. But the moment she reaches the hallway outside the room, something immediately feels wrong. Phyllis knocks on the door. No answer. She knocks again, louder this time. Still nothing. Her expression slowly shifts from irritation to panic. After nervously looking around the hallway, Phyllis spots a housekeeping cart nearby. Without hesitating, she secretly grabs a keycard from the cart and unlocks the suite herself. The second she steps inside, her heart sinks. The room is empty. Matt Clark is gone. Phyllis quickly searches every corner of the suite, calling out his name repeatedly. She checks the bathroom, the bedroom, even the balcony. But there's absolutely no sign of him anywhere. The realization hits her hard. Matt disappeared without warning. Suddenly, all the risks she took to protect him may have been completely pointless. At the same time, another dangerous story unfolds elsewhere in Genoa City, and this one could end in complete tragedy. In a quiet public park, Nick Newman secretly meets with a drug dealer. Nick looks restless, exhausted, and emotionally unstable. His hands shake slightly as the dealer discreetly hands him fentanyl pills. It's clear Nick already knows exactly what he's doing, and exactly how dangerous this decision is. But he takes the pills anyway. The moment feels heartbreaking because viewers can see Nick desperately trying to escape the emotional chaos consuming his life. Between family pressure, the Matt Clark situation, and the constant battles inside Newman Enterprises, Nick is clearly falling apart internally. And sadly, nobody around him realizes how bad things have become. After buying the drugs, Nick secretly takes several pills before heading back to the Newman ranch, pretending everything is normal. Inside the ranch, Victor Newman and Adam Newman are already discussing their next move regarding Matt and Phyllis. Victor remains determined to stand firm and refuse all negotiations until Matt is returned and Newman Enterprises is safe again. Adam supports his father completely. But when Nick arrives, the tension inside the room changes immediately. Nick argues that Victor and Adam are making a huge mistake by refusing to negotiate. According to Nick, Phyllis may be difficult, but she still represents their best chance at finding Matt before things spiral even further out of control. Victor refuses to hear it. He insists the Newman family never surrenders under pressure. Adam agrees, warning Nick that giving Phyllis what she wants would only reward manipulation and chaos. But Nick grows increasingly frustrated. His emotions become more intense, partly because of the drugs already affecting his system. He argues that the family should focus on recovering Newman Enterprises later and prioritize finding Matt immediately before someone gets hurt. Victor notices Nick acting strangely but doesn't fully understand why. Eventually, Nick storms out of the ranch in anger. But instead of calming down, he decides to take matters into his own hands. Later, Nick tracks Phyllis down at the athletic club. The confrontation instantly becomes explosive. Nick corners Phyllis privately and demands answers about Matt's location. He tells her enough games have been played already and insists she hand Matt over immediately before the situation destroys even more lives. Phyllis tries remaining calm, but Nick's aggressive behavior catches her off guard. Then Nick makes a shocking promise. He claims that if Phyllis cooperates and turns Matt in right away, he personally will make sure Christine Blair Romolotti drops the criminal charges against Matt. Phyllis stares at him carefully, unsure whether to believe him. But what she doesn't realize is that Nick's emotional instability is growing more dangerous by the minute, and the drugs clouding his judgment may soon push him toward a devastating mistake. Friday's episode keeps pushing every storyline closer to disaster as emotional cracks begin showing everywhere. Relationships are tested, secrets become harder to hide, and one man's downward spiral threatens to explode in ways nobody sees coming. We continue at the athletic club, where Nick Newman's confrontation with Phyllis Summers grows even more intense. Phyllis immediately notices something feels off about Nick. His behavior is more aggressive than usual, his emotions are unstable, and there's a nervous energy surrounding him that makes the entire conversation uncomfortable. Still, Nick refuses to back down. He demands once again that Phyllis reveal Matt Clark's location before things get completely out of control. According to Nick, every hour Matt remains hidden only creates more danger for everyone involved. But Phyllis fires back quickly. She accuses the Newman family of treating Matt like an enemy instead of recognizing that he's mentally unstable and vulnerable. She insists Matt isn't some mastermind criminal plotting revenge. In her eyes, he's confused, broken, and desperately trying to survive. Nick becomes frustrated hearing her defend him. He reminds Phyllis that Matt's actions already caused massive damage throughout Genoa City. Families have been torn apart, trust has been destroyed, and several people are now living in fear because of him. But even while arguing, Nick struggles to stay emotionally balanced. The drugs in his system begin affecting him more strongly. His speech occasionally slows, his focus drifts, and his mood swings become harder to control. Phyllis notices the strange behavior immediately. She narrows her eyes and quietly asks if Nick is okay. Nick instantly denies anything is wrong. However, Phyllis clearly doesn't believe him. Before she can push further, Nick changes the subject and returns to pressuring her about Matt. He insists there's still a way to fix everything if she cooperates now. He promises he can influence Christine Blair Romolotti to reduce the legal consequences Matt might face. But Phyllis remains cautious. She knows better than anyone that promises inside Genoa City rarely stay trustworthy for long. Meanwhile, across town, Victor Newman grows increasingly suspicious about Nick's recent behavior. Back at the Newman ranch, Victor continues discussing strategy with Adam Newman. Although both men remain focused on recovering Newman Enterprises, Victor admits he's becoming concerned about Nick emotionally. Adam initially dismisses the concern, assuming Nick is simply stressed because of the ongoing crisis. But Victor isn't convinced. He points out that Nick has been acting impulsive, distracted, and unusually emotional lately. Victor has seen addiction destroy lives before, and deep down, he fears Nick may be hiding something serious. Adam becomes quieter after hearing that. Although he doesn't fully agree yet, even he admits Nick's reactions earlier felt extreme. Victor warns Adam that family problems often become most dangerous when nobody notices them early enough. Sadly, neither man realizes just how close Nick already is to completely losing control. Elsewhere, Phyllis returns to Matt's empty hotel suite hoping she somehow missed something earlier. The silence inside the room feels haunting now. She slowly walks through the suite again, trying to understand how Matt vanished without leaving any obvious clues behind. The untouched breakfast remains sitting on the table, and the new clothes Phyllis brought earlier are partially missing. That detail immediately catches her attention. Phyllis realizes Matt likely changed outfits before disappearing, meaning he planned his escape carefully instead of leaving impulsively. The thought sends panic rushing through her. If Matt intentionally escaped, then he could be anywhere in Genoa City by now, and possibly heading directly toward danger. Phyllis quickly checks her phone, hoping Matt contacted her somehow. But there are no messages, no missed calls, and no indication where he went. For the first time since this situation began, genuine fear crosses Phyllis's face. Not fear for herself. Fear for Matt. At the same time in New York, the emotional connection between Claire Newman and Holden Novak continues deepening after their unexpected kiss. The atmosphere between them becomes softer and more personal than before. Claire admits she didn't expect herself to feel comfortable around Holden so quickly. She explains that after everything she's experienced recently, trusting people no longer comes easily for her. Holden understands completely. He confesses that his own complicated family experiences taught him how painful emotional walls can become over time. According to Holden, loneliness sometimes feels safer than trust, until the right person unexpectedly changes everything. Claire listens carefully, visibly affected by his honesty. For a brief moment, she allows herself to imagine a future where life isn't controlled entirely by trauma, fear, or family chaos. Holden gives her a sense of calm she hasn't felt in a long time. But despite the growing chemistry, uncertainty still lingers between them. Claire worries their connection may simply be the result of emotional vulnerability during a stressful situation. She doesn't want either of them rushing into feelings they might later regret. Holden respects her honesty. Instead of pressuring her, he gently tells Claire they can move forward slowly and figure things out together one step at a time. That response seems to mean more to Claire than he realizes. Back in Genoa City, however, peace is becoming impossible. As night falls, Nick sits alone inside his car, visibly shaken. The weight of everything happening around him becomes unbearable. His breathing grows heavier, and his thoughts spiral rapidly between anger, guilt, fear, and exhaustion. Then, unable to resist any longer, Nick reaches for the fentanyl pills again. And with that single decision, his situation becomes far more dangerous than anyone around him understands. As Friday's episode continues unfolding, the emotional pressure in Genoa City reaches an entirely new level. Every storyline is now moving closer to a breaking point, and the consequences of recent choices are beginning to surface in dangerous ways. We start again with Nick Newman, whose downward spiral is becoming harder to ignore. Inside his car, Nick sits in complete silence after taking the fentanyl pills again. His hands rest on the steering wheel, but he's not really focused on driving or even where he is. His mind is drifting in and out of control, pulled between emotional chaos and chemical influence. For a moment, he tries to steady himself. He tells himself to stop, to regain control, to think clearly. But it's already too late for simple self-talk to fix what's happening inside him. Nick eventually forces himself to exit the car and return to reality, pretending nothing is wrong as he heads back into the ongoing Newman family conflict. But the damage is already building beneath the surface, even if no one around him notices it yet. At the Newman Ranch, Victor and Adam continue discussing strategy regarding Matt Clark and Newman Enterprises. Victor remains firm, insisting they cannot allow Phyllis Summers to dictate terms. He believes showing weakness will only make the situation worse and encourage more manipulation. Adam agrees in principle, but even he can't ignore the growing instability surrounding Nick. Adam brings up Nick's behavior again, saying something about him didn't feel right earlier. Victor listens more carefully this time, no longer brushing it off as simple stress. There's a brief silence between them. Victor finally admits he's concerned, not just as a businessman, but as a father. He's seen too many situations where denial leads to disaster. Still, neither of them has enough information to understand the full picture yet. Meanwhile, across town, Phyllis Summers is dealing with her own crisis. After discovering Matt Clark has disappeared from the suite, Phyllis is now moving through Genoa City with growing urgency. She retraces her steps, trying to figure out how he managed to escape so cleanly without leaving an obvious trail. Every possibility she considers leads to more anxiety. Matt is not predictable. And now that he's free again, Phyllis knows the entire situation has become far more dangerous than before. She makes a few urgent phone calls, trying to quietly gather information without alerting the wrong people. But there are no clear answers. It's as if Matt has completely erased his presence. That realization unsettles her deeply. Because someone who can disappear that easily is someone who may already have a plan in motion. Back in New York, Claire Newman and Holden Novak continue their emotional connection in a quieter, more reflective moment after their kiss. The intensity has settled slightly, replaced with cautious understanding. Claire admits she's still unsure about everything happening between them. She doesn't want confusion or emotional pressure to shape something that might not be real. Holden responds calmly, saying he's not asking for certainty or promises. He simply values the connection they've already built. Claire appreciates that honesty more than she expected. She explains that most relationships in her life have been complicated by family expectations, emotional trauma, or outside interference. For once, she just wants something simple, something real, without constant chaos attached to it. Holden tells her that simplicity is rare in their world, but not impossible. Their conversation slowly builds trust again, even if neither of them is ready to define what comes next. They agree to take things slowly, one step at a time, without rushing into labels or expectations. A quiet sense of relief settles between them. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin are still trying to process the growing instability around them. Michael admits the situation involving Matt Clark is becoming increasingly unpredictable. Between Phyllis's emotional involvement and Victor's refusal to compromise, there's very little room left for controlled negotiation. Lauren worries that desperation on all sides could lead to irreversible consequences. She specifically fears that people are starting to act based on emotion rather than logic. Michael doesn't disagree. He says Genoa City has seen this pattern before. When pressure builds too high, someone always makes a move they can't take back. At the same time, Nick arrives at a quieter location, trying to regain composure before facing anyone else. But instead of clarity, he feels the effects of the drugs still lingering in his system. His thoughts are fragmented, his emotions unstable, and his sense of judgment increasingly unreliable. He looks at his phone for a moment, hesitating. Then he makes a decision that will push him even deeper into the ongoing crisis, choosing not to ask for help, and instead continuing to handle everything on his own. A choice that may prove far more dangerous than he realizes. As we reach the final stretch of Friday's episode, every storyline converges toward uncertainty, danger, and emotional collapse. Nothing is stable anymore in Genoa City, and the ripple effects of recent decisions are about to hit harder than ever. We begin with Phyllis Summers, still shaken after discovering Matt Clark has vanished from the suite without a trace. Phyllis is now moving through Genoa City with rising urgency, trying to stay one step ahead of chaos she can no longer fully control. Her confidence is fading, replaced by a growing fear that Matt may already be executing a plan she never saw coming. Every call she makes leads nowhere. Every lead turns into another dead end. And the silence around Matt's disappearance only makes the situation feel more dangerous. Phyllis begins to realize something critical. Matt didn't just run. He escaped strategically. That thought changes everything for her. Because if Matt is planning something bigger, then Phyllis is no longer protecting the situation. She may be right in the middle of it. Meanwhile, across Genoa City, Nick Newman's condition continues to deteriorate in silence. After leaving earlier, Nick is now alone again, battling the effects of fentanyl still circulating in his system. His mind drifts between clarity and confusion, making it difficult for him to separate reality from emotional distortion. He tries to focus. He tries to breathe. But the internal pressure keeps building. Nick checks his phone repeatedly, as if expecting someone to fix everything for him. But no messages come, no rescue arrives, and no easy solution appears. For the first time, Nick begins to look truly lost. Not just emotionally overwhelmed, but completely isolated in his struggle. And instead of reaching out, he makes another decision that pushes him further away from help, insisting to himself that he can handle everything alone. That mindset is becoming his biggest danger. At the same time, Victor Newman and Adam Newman continue working from the ranch, unaware of just how close things are to spiraling beyond control. Victor remains focused on strategy, still determined to regain Newman Enterprises and force Matt Clark back into the open. But even his confidence is beginning to show slight cracks as uncertainty grows around Nick's behavior. Adam suggests they may need to pause and reassess everything happening inside the family before things get worse. Victor doesn't fully disagree anymore. But pride and pressure keep him locked into control mode. He refuses to believe they are losing grip on the situation. Elsewhere, Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin continue discussing the escalating chaos. Michael admits the situation has moved beyond negotiation. Too many unstable variables are now involved: PHYLLIS, Matt, Nick, Victor, and each one is making emotional decisions instead of logical ones. Lauren warns that when too many emotional decisions collide, someone always pays the price. And in Genoa City, that price is rarely small. Back in New York, Claire Newman and Holden Novak share a quieter, more grounded moment after everything that has unfolded between them. The emotional intensity from earlier has softened, replaced with a fragile sense of understanding. Claire admits she still doesn't have clear answers about what she wants long-term. But she does acknowledge that Holden has made her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time: stability in the middle of chaos. Holden responds gently, saying he's not trying to rush her or define anything too quickly. He simply wants honesty between them. Claire appreciates that more than she expected. For the first time in a while, she allows herself to imagine the possibility of something real, without pressure, without family interference, and without emotional chaos dictating every decision. But even as their connection quietly strengthens, uncertainty still lingers in the background. Because in Genoa City, calm rarely lasts long. The final moments of the episode return to Nick, sitting alone and visibly struggling as the weight of everything finally becomes overwhelming. His expression shifts between exhaustion and emotional collapse. And as the screen fades, it becomes clear that Nick is standing at a dangerous crossroads, one that could lead either to redemption or to complete destruction. Friday's episode closes with unanswered questions, rising tension, and the sense that the next move from any character could change everything forever. And in Genoa City, nothing ever stays quiet for long.